This is the face of 4-year-old Luz Gonzalez. 2 years ago, a woman was backing out of an illegal parking spot and struck both Luz and her mother. While Luz's mother was only injured by the accident, Luz unfortunately passed away. After hitting both Luz and her mother, the driver ran off. In a video, it is clearly shown that the vehicle had bumped up when hitting the 4-year-old girl. Yet, the woman responsible for this crime, for this murder, is still out free. Instead of charging her with a fatal hit and run, she was only charged with minor crimes. The woman who hit them has a brother who is in the police force, and he's actually still employed by them to this day, even though clearly something is a little messed up in the processing of this case. When you murder anyone, especially a child, you should probably get jail time, but maybe that's just me.
Alright, so the other day I made this video addressing the issue about how sexual assault is not funny. It's not something to joke about, and it's not something that's anywhere near funny. Basically, this white boy up here tried to make a joke about sexual assault, and I called him out for it. He deleted his account, privated his Instagram, and I heard his college that he's attending got emailed. That's called suffering the natural consequences. Own up to your actions and move on with it. But some of the comments were actually very disappointing, and now it's time to call you guys out. Alright, Perry the Platypussy's bitch ass said, "This video is a joke, don't take everything seriously, crybaby." Okay, first off, this is a fucking serious issue. Second off, your username has the word pussy in it, so I know you're gonna fucking delete your account once people call you out. And third off, sexual assault, if not joking about sexual assault, is something you should take very seriously. Alright, Jojo Border One's stinky fetus ass said we ain't no simps. Standing up for men and women who have been sexually assaulted is not simping. It's called basic human respect, and it should be normalized around the world. Retard Police 01 stupid ass said, "Oh look, it's a snowflake." Alright, so this is a snowflake. Anyway, so whoever that is said it's kind of funny, to be honest. If you got assaulted and someone joked about it, would it be funny? If your mom got assaulted and someone joked about it, would it be funny?
Chinese food is directly linked to causing autism, so let's stop eating it, alright?
Stop the cap. Bitch, what? So you telling me I should stop eating Chinese food, which is not gonna happen, by the way, but it's okay for y'all motherfuckers to eat crocodiles, rattlesnakes, and crickets and shit? But you want me to stop eating Chinese food? Bitch, no. No. And that's very funny you say that, because from a country that eats nothing but Chinese food, they have the lower rate of autism than America. China holds the percentages of only 1.4% of the people that has autism, while America, 1 out of 59 children is diagnosed with autism. So let's say if we do the math, that's, 15%. Seems like you need to worry about America, not Chinese food. But hey bro, make sure you actually do your research, keep doing you, and I'm gonna keep eating Chinese food. So yeah, I'm gonna go to Panda Express. You want anything? No? Okay.
Some of you have seen this video of an ex-football player catching a baby out of a burning building. This ex-football player was named Philip Blanks. Articles everywhere was mentioning him and naming him a hero. But nobody was mentioning or acknowledging who was throwing the babies out of the fire. It was 30-year-old Rachel Long, who while on fire dropped her son off the balcony to save him. While on fire, she even went back in the fire to save her daughter. Sadly, she passed away, but since news articles wouldn't do it, I'm here to acknowledge that she was a hero.
I honestly don't know what's more disturbing right now than the information and what's being exposed about the government and people in power being involved in child sex trafficking rings. Last week, there were 2 young black girls that went missing in Milwaukee. The parents reported that the girls were missing to the police. The police said they weren't going to help the parents, so the parents got the help of the community. The community tracked down these girls in what was allegedly a house of a pedophile or a known trafficking house. And then, when they got there, there were police at the house, guarding the house, and then also ushering people to what looked like children into an unmarked van. Nobody is talking about this. It's absolutely disgusting and an abuse of power. The police are not here to help us. I don't know who they're serving because it's not us.
I love how confused Trump and all of those lovely little Trumpettes are about how TikTok is coming together and like fighting back against this platform on TikTok of all things, when I don't think they've realized that we're the generation that literally played this game. You remember this song? Whoa, I have on my fingers, the knife goes chop, chop, chop. If I miss the spaces in between, my fingers will fall off. And if I hit my fingers, the blood will soon come out. But all the same, we play this game, cause that's what it's all about. Like, late millennials and Gen Zs are the ones that took knives and stabbed them between our fingers for the lols. And you really think we won't fuck with you? Yeah, okay.
Many people referred to Konarak as Dahmer's one victim who did not need to die. On May 26, 1991, Konarak went to the park, but he never returned home. One day later, Nicole Childress and her cousin, Sandra Smith, both 18 years old and both Black women. I am highlighting this because it matters. These two women found Konarak running butt naked, bleeding from his rectum, beaten up, dazed and confused. They grabbed him because they saw Dahmer chasing him. These two young ladies, only 18 years old, wrestled Konarak away from Dahmer, and they called the police. Even when they called 911, the dispatcher told the young ladies to just leave the kid alone with Dahmer and to mind their own business. This is a child who had a hole drilled into his head.
Bitch, what is you saying though? All that Japanese shit, I don't understand it.
I'm gonna get backlash for this. Can you stop with all the Asian jokes? Like, this is the 4th time I've been tagged in you making some type of insensitive Asian joke towards Asian people, bro. The last video you were saying ling ling chung chung to the lady, bro. Bro, you could be funny as hell without making fun of someone's race and language, bro. I know y'all just go comment and say it's just a joke, but the Asian community been commenting on there and show that they hate her doing that, so she just gotta kill it. Like, it's not that hard, bro.
I want to talk about the all black people run away when they see other black people running stereotype. That stereotype is literally built off of the fact that runaway slaves didn't matter if they ran away and they were free or not, they were still caught by slave gatherers. If there was a runaway slave, slave capturers would be running around town and there would be bounty on their heads. So regardless of what kind of slave they brought in, they would get a reward. So most often than not, people who were trying to pick up slaves wouldn't look for the runaway slave because they didn't care if they looked like the slave or not. They just wanted to bring back more slaves. So even if a black person was to show them their freedom documents or anything like that, they wouldn't take that as fact. They would literally just take the person and enslave them again, or take this slave from wherever they run away from to a new plantation or whatever. With that being said, anytime groups of black people saw police showing up in the area, because the police are not prone to look for an actual description, they would just grab any type of black person, all black people would run because they never knew if they were going to fall victim of a crime that they didn't commit. When They See Us is the documentary that inspired this TikTok. Bye, guys.
Believe it or not, this guy is a former president. This is Jose Mujica, and he was president of Uruguay from 2010 to 2015. And this is the car that he drove his entire presidency, and even today. He was a great president, and even though he has met very powerful world leaders, he lived in a house like this. He's a very humble guy and doesn't want to live a life of luxury. He even has a well on his estate to get water. He owns a dog that has only 3 legs, and it's one of his guard dogs. And the only other security he has on his property are 2 guards. Just imagine if someone like Donald Trump had only a dog and 2 guards guarding him. This president would also give 90% of his salary to charity. And that's why he's one of the most beloved presidents on the world still. More crazy stories, follow my Instagram.
Stop scrolling and please help me spread the word, because if I've landed on your For You page, you're most likely either a black woman or someone who cares about black women, and the simple phrase I'm about to share could help save a black woman's life. Doctors are to black women what police officers are to black men. That may seem controversial, but I believe it to be true, and I speak from personal experience. If you've seen this TikTok, you know that a 2016 study showed that 50% of medical students and residents thought that black people couldn't feel pain the same as white people. And we learned from this video that because of a 1999 study, to this day, there's a black correction factor for the creatinine levels in black people's kidneys, meaning we're less likely to receive a kidney transplant if needed. So if you go to a doctor, feel you aren't getting proper treatment, or they refuse the treatment you've requested, say to them the following: I will need you to document on record that you are refusing the treatment I've requested and the reason you are refusing to do so.
Are you wondering why Breonna Taylor's murder is taking so long to be solved? Here's why. This past Saturday, there was an amendment made to her lawsuit claiming that Louisville Metro Police Department was working with the Louisville government on a huge housing scheme called the Elliott Avenue Project. Basically, the Elliott Avenue project was made in December of 2019, but really took full flight during the pandemic because they knew that low-income earners were the most vulnerable during this time. Elliott Avenue is located in the West End of Louisville, Kentucky. The West End neighborhood is notorious for gang affiliation and drug use due to its low-income demographic. Basically, the police were working to arrest and scare away most of the tenants so that they could completely destroy the neighborhood and rebuild it with expensive housing. This is gentrification and systemic racism at its best. For example, after it was raided for drugs, this house was bought by Louisville Metro government for, wait for it, $1. So the reason the cops that killed Breonna Taylor haven't been arrested yet is because her murder is just one instance in a huge bigger picture.
I was called a Karen the other day for standing up for abuse victims. I was also called a Karen for standing up against child marriage. Let me clarify what a Karen is, because I think some people are mistaken. A Karen is an entitled white woman who lives her life in a toxic bubble of racism. Karens are clearly women who have not gotten laid in a while. They live their life in a perpetual state of grumpiness and make everyone around them's life hell. They also refuse to wear masks, because masks are the devil's work. Karens storm the earth, wasting their carbon footprint on stupid things, like returning food and treating the waitstaff like crap. And overall, just being an asshole. Please stop telling women that they're being Karens if they're standing up for basic human rights. The more you use that word towards the wrong people, the less it has meaning. And the point of calling people a Karen is to encourage these types of people to stop acting like a booty hole.
I know this is what Trump supporters wanted, because standing up for Black Lives Matter put me in a place online to be seen by millions of people. The job that I had worked really hard to get and meant a lot to me just called me and fired me because of everything. I don't know if everyone's seen, but it's been circulating a lot. My Black Lives Matter TikToks were picked up by conservatives and spread and shared, and people were demanding that I be fired, which I just got. My job that I worked really hard for. Even though they claim to stand against systematic bias, racism, and unequal treatment, so do the thousands of Trump supporters sending me hate messages, death threats, and violent messages. I'm still not going to stop talking about and defending Black Lives Matter. You can't take away my spirit and my devotion towards human rights.
Good! Breathe! Bitch, you better get the fuck out of my
This is one of my students, and he's handcuffed. Turn around and show me that you're handcuffed. He's handcuffed with Hyatt handcuffs, and I want you to watch how he gets out of it. I have absolutely never seen anything like that.
I just want to know why. I just want to know, out of all things that you could have invested your energy into, you chose this. You chose to go on social media, right? Take this man whose life was wrongfully taken in the hands of police abusing their power, and you chose to make a mockery out of him. Completely ignoring the fact that this man is someone's son, someone's father, someone's brother. How low of a human being do you have to be to do some shit like this? And it's like, I know a lot of you will say that, you know, oh, it's just dark humor. This is not dark humor. Read the room. Read the fucking room. This is not a joke.
Where's justice for him, Black Lives Matter protest people?
But the people that are preaching for equality aren't talking about him.
I'm not gonna see one Black Lives Matter person comment on this video.
Okay, I'll take on 3 of you motherfuckers at the same time. Since your collective intelligence equals that of an amoeba, this is gonna be light work. First and foremost, not a single one of you care about Bonnell Tramel's death. You only care about exploiting his death against Black Lives Matter. You know who else was killed recently? This guy, and this cop. All lives matter, people. Blue lives matter, people. Where you guys at? Oh, that's right. These men's death aren't exploitable against Black Lives Matter, so you don't actually give a shit. How many times do we have to keep telling you idiots? Black Lives Matter focuses on police brutality, racial injustice, and inequality. This man's death is a job for the police to figure out, not Black Lives Matter, okay? We don't police the world. We're not the fucking Avengers. All three of you are really, really stupid.
This is important footage from the New York City protest that police don't want you to see.
Yet again, protesters were peaceful while police were violent.
Police tried to create a riot. You can see them illegally barricading a path to continue and pushing completely non-violent protesters. You can see this cop realizing I caught him on camera. And that's exactly why I'm screaming record, record, record. We need to record the cops and make sure they're held accountable because too much of their violence goes unseen. They wanted to do a mass arrest. You can see it with the white chain. Protesters remained peaceful and even took out mirrors forcing cops to look at themselves. Dozens of cops guarded a statue of famous colonizer and murderer Christopher Columbus. This cop refused to wear.
So some kids thought that they were the shit or something, and they really decided to write this in the middle of a freaking park, okay? This is literally disgusting. We're gonna teach them a lesson. Don't waste the water. Be careful, be careful, be careful with the water. We don't have that many. Fuck Donald Trump 2020. All right, so we cleaned it up for the most part, and now we're gonna write over it. And here's the finished product. We're just gonna leave this here as a message to those racist people